You're a great friend and colleague of Goldsmiths, and we very much appreciate and value our links with our civic local authorities, and it's lovely to see you here today. And I want to welcome Mr. Keir Simmons, who is a recipient of an honorary degree, and we will be hearing more about you and from you later in the ceremony. But it's good to have you here today with your family, and I hope you enjoy the ceremony. But most of all, can I welcome those of you who are about to graduate and your family and friends who are here with you. I know that this is a very important occasion, one of those occasions that you will remember for the rest of your life. We very often say that. We'll do something we enjoy and we say, oh, that was wonderful, I'll never forget it. Sometimes within a week, a month, we've completely forgotten all about it. But there are some points in your life, first day at school, day you meet the person you might marry, graduation ceremonies, that you do remember. And I think that this is going to be one of those days. If you look around the room, we're all here for the same reason, but for a slightly different reason. We're here firstly to celebrate you getting your degrees, and you're going to be graduates once this ceremony has ended. But although your name's on the certificate and it's you that will walk across the platform, in truth, you're not the only person that we need to thank and celebrate today. All your family and all your friends and your guests that you've brought with you have all played a part in getting you to this point. And those people are on the stage, your lecturers, people who have monitored your research or helped you. They've played a point as well. And in a way, this ceremony recognises everybody's contribution to get people to the point where they graduate. I like the feeling of that because I think education is one of those things in society that we often think about it as an individual thing. We talk about our achievements, how many GCSEs have you got, what degree classification did you get, what's your SAT result, or whatever the age. We talk about the performance of an individual. But I think education's probably one of the greatest collective endeavours that we have. I just did want to remind people that I suspect there's hardly anyone who's about to graduate today that did it all by themselves. There's bound to be a time when you needed the help, the encouragement, the advice, just someone believing in you when perhaps you weren't sure you believed in yourself. So today's that recognition of what everybody's contributed to getting our cohort of students this afternoon to be graduates. I think also that this is about your degree, and it will open doors for your hope, and it is a recognition of what you have achieved. But for lots of us here as citizens of this country, it's about more than that, because you have now reached a level where you know more, can do more things, I think hopefully make a stronger contribution to the jobs in which you will go. And so in another way, it's us all celebrating the value of education and what it brings to all of us. You do know more things because you'll have learnt a lot of facts, and you will be able to do different things because that's what getting a degree is, what being at university is about. But I suspect that you're also slightly different people than when you started your degree. And those of you, you've got parents here, family, friends, I think you'll know that if you think back to what they were like when they started their higher education studies, they've changed a bit. They've grown older, and I hope that means that they've grown wiser. But I hope that being at Goldsmiths has also given you a confidence, taught you to take risks, perhaps extended the people and the groups of people that you know, perhaps broadened your horizons, perhaps taught you to deal with the difficulties all of us had, and I hope perhaps giving you that feeling that you don't have the limitations you once thought you did. So it's not just what you know and what you can do, it's the sort of person you've become because of your degree studies. And because of that, what you give back to society, I think is immeasurably more than had you not gone through this process. So you'll get the degree. I wish you well and congratulate you on that. But our ceremony today is all of us being here. We've all played a part in our graduates' achievements, but never before have we all been in the same room at the same time to congratulate this group of students and reflect on what they've achieved and wish them well for the future. And that's why I love graduation ceremonies. I think that's what they're about. We will probably never be in the same room again, but we've all played a part in the lives of those people who will walk across the stage. So on behalf of Goldsmiths, thank you to all the parents and the friends and the relatives for all you've done to support those who will graduate today. And on my behalf, Pat, through you, can I thank all your staff whose skill and efforts have helped us to get to where we are. Most of all, enjoy the ceremony, and my congratulations again to everybody who is about to graduate. Thank you. And I now call upon the warden to deliver his address.
Chair, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I feel like giving you a spoiler alert. Elderly Irishman approaches microphone. This could take a while. It will seem longer than it really is, I promise you. But as Estelle has said, when you get to this stage of being on this stage, you begin to worry a lot about forgetting stuff that you really, really used to know and should know. I promise you, you will not forget today. And make sure you won't. Take thousands of photographs. In 20 years, you'll get enormous amusement from laughing at the hairstyles. Yes, you will. And also in remembering a unique moment in your lives. There'll be much of 2017 that many of us would prefer to forget, but not this bit. This is a really significant moment, and we feel it strongly, and we think that you should too. Because you've done a lot over the years, and this is a moment of celebration. You're on a bit of a journey of self-discovery. Oscar winner and Goldsmiths graduate, just like you, Steve McQueen, described his time here in Goldsmiths as one of experimentation and of finding himself. During the course of today, just take a quiet moment away from the buzz and think about what you've found, that person you've found inside. Think about what you've achieved and how often you've overcome hurdles to achieve it. Do you remember all those dark nights when you thought you'd never write that bloomin' essay? Remember those? When you thought you were uniquely stupid? Remember that? That you and you alone could not understand what these people on stage were saying? What were they getting at? What were they on about? Remember those nights? Remember those anguished phone calls home? I can't do it. Anyone who's any good at anything suffers profound self-doubt. Show me the smug and the complacent, and they're the low achievers. The ones with anxiety and self-doubt are the drivers, and critically, you got through those dark nights, and here you are today. Let that be the main lesson you took away with you. All of that angst, all of that self-doubt is followed by a moment in the New Cross sunshine of real achievement and of a real sense that given dedication, tenacity, hard work, self-belief, there is nothing you can't do. So please, please, keep on doing it. The great David Bowie once said that the future belongs to those who can hear it coming. Well, Goldsmiths graduates have the vision to see what's coming down the road and the sense of purpose to do something about it. We're emerging into a tilted world in so many different ways, but with all the skills you're equipped with, all the critical thinking, all the compassion that goes with life in Goldsmiths, you have a great opportunity to take advantage of the opportunities and to correct what's wrong about this society. I don't think that Judy Garland is quoted often enough at graduation ceremonies, so I'm up for that. She said, among many clever things she said, always be a first-rate version of yourself instead of a second-rate version of somebody else. There is only one unique combination of genes, that is you. Combination of experiences, of air miles through all the many experiences you and your family have gone through together. Society needs you, uniquely you. Don't pretend to be someone else. Don't modulate. You are wonderfully you, and be confident about that. So look back with pride and look forward with confidence, because you're now one of a community of 60,000 strong right around the whole world, a community bound by one shared experience, having been awarded a precious thing, a Goldsmiths degree. You're now one of a remarkable group, a group which includes some of the world's leading thinkers, creatives, artists, musicians, performers, doers. Anthony Gormley, Blur, Mary Quant, James Blake, Katie B., Linton Kwesi Johnson, the list goes on and on and on. I listen to other vice-chancellors, leaders of other universities, trying to explain in very multi-clause sentences what their institution is for. I really don't need to do any of that. I just need to read the names of the people who've been here and who benefited from the creative space that is Goldsmiths. And I look forward, as I trust you do, to my successors, including your names on that list in the future. And remember, if that's what you want to do, there is nothing to stop you, nothing whatever. I want to tell you a little bit about this space, if I may. Over 150 years ago, the sons of Royal Navy officers proudly paraded in what was then the open quadrangle of the then Royal Naval School, because that's what was here. Prince Albert himself, husband of Queen Victoria, laid the foundation stone in 1843. This great hall was created when it was roofed over in 1891 and purchased by the philanthropic Goldsmiths Company, who gave us our name and me this remarkable title of warden. Their idea was to bring higher education to one of London's poorest boroughs. That ambition remains just as valid today, because most research-led high-end universities are, like Goldsmiths, are located in a field somewhere, or in the leafy square in the shadow of a cathedral. New Cross isn't really like that, is it? Blur bassist and now celebrity cheesemaker James Blake, Alex James even, said that he said this place was more about screaming tires than about dreaming spires. We are so proud to be here in one of London's most dynamic, diverse, and modern communities. We think we bring benefits to the community, but we're absolutely sure that the community brings wonderful dynamic strengths to us. We are also so very proud to be part of this Lewisham community, and I'm so pleased the Mayor is here with us today to help us celebrate. Just earlier this year, we marked the anniversary of the Battle of Lewisham, a moment in 1977 when our communities joined together to take on and to defeat hatred right here on our doorstep. This hall has also heard a lot of music over the years. It hosted the very last performance of a Vaughan Williams symphony, which was attended by the composer himself. And these names may mean more to people in this side of the room than on the stage than they do to you, but groups like Deep Purple, The Cream, and Manfred Mann have performed here over the years. They were the iconic sounds of our period in the 60s and 70s. It's also been the scene of much less jovial occasions. Many of you will have sat here completing your final exams only weeks ago, looking with that solemnity that you do at your final exam paper. Well done, you came through. There is a deep sense of familial pride here at Goldsmiths when we hear news of success among you, our graduates. Our alumni have reached the very top of their professions and have won the trophies to prove it. Amongst our former students are 7 winners of the Turner Prize and winners of Ivor Novellas, Emmys, BAFTAs, Olympic gold medals, Mercury Prizes, not forgetting 3 Academy Awards. Recent graduates are making big waves too. Our filmmakers have won Royal Television Society Awards and been nominated for BAFTAs. Our music students are being signed by major labels. And alongside all of that, our graduates have been cited as the most employable in the UK. And that citation comes from the constituency that really matters, their employers. So we feel you are well equipped to go and to make big ripples in the future. And when you move on, please don't forget to write home. Keep in touch with us, because we are ultimately dependent on your success for the reputation of this place. Please also reflect about our colleagues here on the stage, because we are so proud that the faculty in Goldsmiths, in my view, is second to none in the world in their fields. And when we say that this is research-led and that you are taught from first year by our most senior professors in this place, it happens to be true. These guys don't just cite the textbooks, they write them. And that is something that is increasingly unique in higher education in the United Kingdom. And it is so important. The fellowship I feel every day between the faculty and the students is just such a strength of Goldsmiths. And we are very excited by your membership of another community, and that is of New Cross right here. And we've been trying more and more recently to enrich and extend the creative experience that is Lewisham and New Cross. Soon, in autumn 18, we will declare open the Goldsmiths Centre for Contemporary Art. This is such an exciting project, establishing a major centre for the arts in South London, bringing internationally renowned artists to New Cross with free exhibitions for all. We've been proud for decades about sending great artists to the world. Now it seems just right to close that circle and to bring great artworks back here to this community to enrich it. Alongside that, there is, of course, the Curzon Goldsmiths, or cinema, which at this moment is showing your graduation ceremony. Just a debut for the big screen for you guys, but wave affectionately because you are on Curzon Goldsmiths as we speak. And don't forget that remarkable weekly range of free events and exhibitions that happen here, something every single night of the week. Lectures, recitals, concert, gigs, as well as readings by the authors who enter our flagship Goldsmiths Prize for Innovative Literature. So, as you commence the next exciting chapter of your lives, please don't be a stranger here at Goldsmiths. As alumni and friends, you will always be part of this Goldsmiths community. Membership comes with a host of benefits, as I say, especially over the next 2 or 3 years when you might need our support as you move on. You have continued opportunity to use that library, that home of happiness for you over recent months. Maybe you will love to see that place again. And ominously, your Goldsmiths email is for life. And you will always be able to access the support of our Careers Advisory Service. We're trying really hard to make and support alumni to feel part of Goldsmiths long after graduation. So through our alumni ambassadors, in every corner of the world from Sao Paulo to Tokyo, there are annual get-togethers. So please, in the marquee afterwards, make sure you find our alumni team and make sure you get to know them. We want to get to know you, because when you come hugely rich, we need a share of your cash, okay? It's one form of filthiness that we quite like. Filthy rich, send it in this direction, please. But there are real opportunities for you to remain part of this remarkable community. Now, we keep telling you, and you know, that it's been very hard work for you to be here today. But those who love and support and teach you also know that you've been a lot of hard work. Anguish, distress, self-doubt, late-night phone calls, emergency parcels of sweet stuff. I'd like everyone who's going to graduate today to stand now and in a very loud, foot-stomping, hollering Goldsmiths way, express your gratitude to all of your family, your friends, your supporters, and your teachers, to thank them for bringing you on this journey. So would you stand up, stand up, stand up. Would everyone stand up who's about to graduate? Louder! Thank you. Thank you. I should have said a selfish thing. All of your graduates of media and comms here, a wonderful field of endeavor in which I spent 30 years of my life, in which Keir is now a graduate of ours, distinguishing his wonderful career. You've made a very good choice. It's a career that matters and that can change things and that is a critical part of a functioning democracy. So I wish you very well in that field of endeavor as well. Please don't be jealous now, because all of the rest of the applause will be exclusively for you. We are enormously proud of you. We wish you our warmest congratulations. Have a great day. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you, Pat. I now call upon Professor Joanna Zielinska from the Department of Media and Communications to present successful students of the college.
Chair. Chair, in the name of the University and the Academic Board, I present to you the following members of the college who have been admitted to the degrees of the University. Bachelor of Arts in Journalism, Lucy Emma Domachowski. Bachelor of Arts in Media and Communications, Adrian Agbunobi.
Congratulations, excellent.
Lindsay Rebecca Hodges.
Well done.
Tufail Kabiri.
Congratulations, well done.
Uchechukwu Nwude.
Congratulations.
Jennifer de Almeida Rodriguez.
Well done, Jennifer. Congratulations.
David Roisengert.
Congratulations, well done.
Bachelor of Arts in Media and English, Nick Bohr.
Congratulations, well done.
Emily Cronier.
Well done.
Bachelor of Arts in Media and Sociology, Yasmin Bangura.
Congratulations.
Masters of Arts in Brands, Communication and Culture, Leah Aliperta Morisseau.
Well done.
Leah Blom.
Congratulations.
Sarah Carr.
Well done. Congratulations.
Marta Comey Jolly.
That's excellent. Well done.
Miles Cooper.
Congratulations.
Sabina Anum Elahi.
Congratulations.
Fernanda Fagundes Oliveira. Smed Hansen.
Congratulations.
Fiona Jane Hatton.
Congratulations.
Katie Elizabeth Hessian.
Well done.
David Holyhead. Mohammed B.N. Jarrah.
Congratulations. Oh,
Spiridon Kurtelesis.
congratulations.
Sanel Victoria Martin.
Congratulations.
Natalie Ann Sajal.
Well done.
Darius Shahab.
Congratulations.
Douglas Vincent Fairchild.
Congratulations.
Bianca Wittmann.
Well done.
Venshi Doe.
Congratulations.
Master of Arts in Digital Journalism, Giulia Bassanese. Maria Magdalena Canedo. Pooja Kailash Chabria. Carlota Dotto.
Congratulations.
Yolante Oluwatele Fawehinmi. Yutian He. Georgina Rose Lord.
Well done.
Rachel Lavin. Aisha Majid.
Well done.
Nora Mati. Mingyuan Chen. Foster Numata. Rebecca Pinnington. Marie Seger.
Congratulations.
Anastasia Shab.
Well done.
Chandrasekhar Srinivasan.
Congratulations.
Laura Woodruff. Master of Arts in Digital Media, Technology and Cultural Forum. Shanice Bashir.
Well done.
Zoe Glatt.
Congratulations.
Matthew Gonzalez Noda.
Well done.
Josette Khalil.
Congratulations.
Yishu Liu.
Well done.
Amanda Hope Macari.
Well done.
Carmen Morago. Paspimol Padam Prach.
Congratulations.
Panagiota Panagako.
Well done.
Nicola Anna Rossi.
Congratulations.
Anjali Stevens. Edward Trippier. Zainab Turan.
Well done.
Master of Arts in Film and Screen Studies, Mohammad Naeem Mahmood.
Well done.
Master of Arts in Filmmaking Cinematography, Joshua Bister.
Congratulations.
Joshua Black. Yichuan Huang.
Well done.
Henry Phipps. Aristide Russo. Yixiong Yang.
Congratulations.
Master of Arts in Filmmaking, Directing Fiction, Eduardo Maria Briganti.
Congratulations.
Oisin Byrne.
Well done.
Jose Eduardo Cortes Moreno.
Congratulations.
Anastasios Topouzis.
Well done.
Master of Arts in Filmmaking, Editing, Ali Ali. Victoria Bogusława Jazwiecka.
Well done.
MA Filmmaking, Producing, Alicia Odette.
Congratulations.
Benjamin Gerard Jose Byrne.
Well done.
Julia Francalanci.
Congratulations.
Linde Hering. Paula Hamalainen. Ariadne Cusis. Edward Perisset. Carly Plasha. Graciela Cristina Romero Carillo. Amber Ronaldson. Anna Siemiaczko. Esther Telegdi. Master of Arts in Filmmaking, Screen Documentary, Nurbanu Asena. Naheal Katnot. Anthony Michael Devlin. Amir El-Shanawi. Lillian Hess. Caroline Anna Beatrice Kruger. Jing Yun Chu. Alana Maeve Sargent. Maria Graciela Belen Tavares Bringas. Master of Arts in Filmmaking, Sound Recording and Design, Rory Cargill. Shi Chen. James Damba. Maria Christina Kelly. Rebecca Peace. Now, the Department of Media and Communications would like to acknowledge Mehmet Aksoy, a wonderful alumnus from the MA Filmmaking program who tragically died earlier this year. Mehmet contributed to the department, the college, and the university. He will be greatly missed. A family member. Okay. Master of Arts. Master of Arts in Global Media and Transnational Communications, Angelica Maria De Simone. Gabriela Herda Salazar. Cheuk Man Calvin Lau. Wei Hong Tseng. Pei Rong Wu. Master of Arts in Journalism, Mata Busby. Matty Edwards. Kyra Hansen. Amalia Christina Mercedes Ilgner. Nicholas Marrell Dawson. Diandra Sirigar. Nicholas Thompson. Curti Verma. Master of Arts in Media and Communications, Amy Lauren Barbas. Yung Swan Chuang. Melis Kodo. Haining Duan. Kaisa Ilona Eranti. Ian He. Sabine Kedlova. Mamiko Kita. Jin Mi-young Lee. Gao Xiang Li. Bethan Morgan. Kirsty Reed. Fajer Taki. Zhuo Qian Wang. Master of Arts in Photography, the Image and Electronic Arts. Julia Agro. Emily Marie Claire Carver. Cheng Chang. Savesh Chawla. Ilario Sicella. Jatin Garg. Pavlina Gompu. Yanming Ho. Juan Hu. Huaden Hu. Junfeng Hu. Gaurav Kumar. Kyung Hee Lee. Li Tao Meng. Mark Mitchell. Katie Sturgis. Yangling Zhou. Yun Zhou. Master of Arts in Political Communications. Lorena Louisiana Carranza Flores. Kento Fujita. Andrea Goreatz. Ching Yin Huang. Biwong Huang. Paula Moraes Bita. Ayala Pnevsky. Nicola Sakas. Siwat Sakuldev. Master of Arts in Promotional Media, Public Relations, Advertising and Marketing. Johanna Boelman. Matilda Hin. Naudia Guerrero. Yen Yun Lin. Lechi Ma. Isolde McCardle. Megan McMaster. Miriam Oblong. Shilpa Sebastian. Yara Emma Shahada. Miao Tang. Kawing Tanan Wong. Peng Ling Yang. Carmelita Noemi Zapala. Yifang Dang. Master of Arts in Radio. Frances Ainley. William Bond. Sylvie Carlos. Hannah Dean. Caroline Ferguson. Nora Josephine Hoel. Jack Jewers. Esme Elisa Joseph. Eleanor Lazaridis. Claire Lynch. Alexander Arthur Rees. Tom Rosengrave. Simon Scott. Anna Madeleine Sinfield. Alfred James Thompson. Master of Arts in Script Writing, Kay Decker. Alistair Macquarie Dodds. Mark Thomas Hitchings. Alex Kassab. Max Renato Burgonia Moore. Milia Johanna Sariluoma. Rashid Spitri. Francesca Stevens. Master of Arts in Television Journalism, Sabrina Agay Boateng. Njoki Nicole Coleman. Evgenia Dolina. Vicky Dabo. Anna Afwa Serwa Efa. Melissa Fernando. Charlie Floyd. Haonan Kong. Anilesh Kumar. Luke Radcliffe. Katriona Thompson. Lo Chi Tseng. Jing Zhou. Master of Research, Filmmaking, Photography and Electronic Arts, Wan Rulin. Master of Arts in Filmmaking, Producing, Fiorella Marisol Diaz Suarez.
I'd now like to call upon Ms. Paula Maria Spita from the Department of Media and Communications to speak on behalf of the graduating student body class of 2017. Paula.
Chair of Council, Warden, and staff of Goldsmiths, honorable guests, parents, guardians, friends, and sponsors, I am honored to stand before you today on behalf of all graduating students. First of all, I would like to, in the name of the graduates today, thank the faculty and staff of Goldsmiths University of London for the incredible experience that being a student here has been. Your care for us has made our time here priceless. And I can honestly say that we arrive at the end of this journey better prepared for the challenges that we will certainly face from now on. One of my favorite authors in the world, Colombian Gabriel Garcia Marquez, has said in one of his novels that it is not true that we stop pursuing our dreams because we grow old. We grow old because we stop pursuing our dreams. Although essays, deadlines, and nights not slept to finish the dissertation might mean premature aging, I believe we are now closer than we were in the beginning of our journey to the secret to eternal youth, as put by Garcia Marquez. And the reason I believe that is because we now have more tools to pursue our dreams. When I first arrived in this country and started my master's here at Goldsmiths, I believed my world to be wide. I believed that by reading a lot back in Brazil and by being a journalist there, I had a very comprehensive view of the world. And then I came to London. I've had classes with British students, as well as Peruvian, Thai, Taiwanese, Japanese, Israeli, Romanian, with students from Hong Kong, China, Australia, the United States, and Liberia, among others. All of us here had contact with people from North and Latin America, Europe, Asia, the Middle East, Africa, Oceania. We have learned not only from our lectures and seminars, but also from this very rich and unique opportunity of debating with people who are so different from ourselves and learning from each other. When we were not having classes with some of the most respected names in our field, we would be sitting on the grass whenever London weather permitted and discussing our different backgrounds, the realities of our countries, having coffee, and watching one or two art projects that were always happening between Richard Hogarth and Professor Stuart Hall buildings. My world suddenly became much vaster. I look at myself a little more than 1 year ago and cannot believe how much I have learned and accomplished in such little time. The diversity of people and ideas that circulate at Goldsmiths in just 1 year makes it impossible for us not to leave the university with our horizons much expanded. We graduates of Goldsmiths today face a very difficult and challenging world. Among its challenges, I can cite an increasing concentration of wealth as well as unemployment, especially for the youth. I can also comment on what seems to be an increase in hate and intolerance towards difference. I can mention a world in which racism and sexism seem to be growing again and making more and more victims. For us who are graduating in the fields of media and communications, there are some special challenges. We experience now a time of post-truth, in which the importance of honesty and fact-checking when conveying any type of message seems to be lost. It is our challenge, in whichever area inside this great field we have chosen, to pursue fair treatment and fight to prevent hate and intolerance from spreading even more. Goldsmiths has not given me all the answers to the problems I have mentioned, but it has certainly provided me with strategies to think about them and fight against them. I am a Brazilian woman who had the opportunity to study in a great university and had the gift of being able to expand my horizons. I know that the vast majority of graduates, if not all, feel something similar. I just wish that all of us here today use this experience to work towards a freer and more equal world. That we use it to better and continually pursue our dreams, and as a welcome consequence, never grow old. Thank you.
Thank you, Paula. That was a beautiful speech. It will be appreciated by everyone and certainly given us all a lot to think about. So thank you for speaking on behalf of the student body. I now call upon the warden to present students who have been admitted to research degrees of the university.
Chair, In the name of the university and of the academic board, I present to you the following members of the college who have been admitted to research degrees of the university. These are the highest awards we offer, so of great significance. For the degree of Doctor of Philosophy from the Department of Media and Communications, and for a thesis entitled Immunity Gaming, Mapping the First-Person Shooter, Robert Andrew Chensi. From the Department of Media and Communications, what a shock, for a thesis entitled Homes on the Move for Artists from the Baltic States, Artistic Practices, Mobilities and Homes, Emma Duester. From the Department of Media and Communications, and for a thesis entitled Affective Journalism, Uncovering the Affective Dimension of Practice in the Coverage of Traumatic News, Stephen Jukes. From the Department of Media and Communications, and for a thesis entitled Media and Communicative Practices in the Quest for the Commons, Chile's 2011 Student Movement, Jorge Antonio Saavedra Utman. From the Department of Media and Communications, and for a thesis entitled The Sound System of the State, Sonic Strategies for Political Critique on the Borders of Palestine, Israel, Tom Carlos Twalim.
I'd now like to call upon Professor Alan Downey, the College Orator, to present for admission to the Honorary Fellowship of Goldsmiths College, Mr. Keir Simmons.
Chair, I present to you Keir Simmons for admission to the Honorary Fellowship of Goldsmiths, University of London. Correspondent at NBC News, reporting for The Today Show, Nightly News, MSNBC and NBCnews.com. Since graduating from Goldsmiths in 1994, he's built a career as a television journalist, first with ITV News and subsequently as a foreign correspondent for NBC, a role which involves travel from his base in London to far-flung places around the world in order to provide insights for an American audience on a range of topics, or, as he put it himself talking to me, from reporting on North Korea to interviewing George Clooney. That's not the way his colleagues on NBC described Keir's interview with Clooney, Julia Roberts and Jodie Foster about the film Money Monster at the Cannes Film Festival, however. They chose instead to refer, humorously I assume, to what they called our continuing series, It's Tough to be Keir Simmons. But as I've intimated, Keir's work as a foreign correspondent takes him to places very different from beaches in the south of France as a or skiing down the slopes of the Winter Olympics at Sochi. He's reported on several occasions from Syria and Iraq. He was in the Ukraine after flight MH17 was shot down in 2014, and in West Africa in the autumn of the same year during the Ebola outbreak. His reporting of the terrorist attacks in Paris in November 2015 led to his being nominated for an Emmy Award in the category Outstanding Coverage of a Breaking News Story in a News Magazine for his contribution to a Dateline NBC special Terror in Paris. And he was again nominated under the same category for his contribution to a Today Show special Terror in Brussels. Born in Woolwich, Keir moved at an early age to the village of Saltford, outside Bath, where he attended Wells Way Comprehensive School, Keynsham, before moving on to St Brendan's Sixth Form College in Bristol, where he managed to muck up his A-levels first time round. That's what Keir told me. Before retaking, he applied to Goldsmiths to read communications and sociology, and he suspects that he blagged his way onto the programme by talking left-wing politics with the sociology lecturers who interviewed him. Nothing's changed there then. Keir maintains that his perspective was transformed by his Goldsmiths experience. Not only was he a transformative editor of Smith's News, he also wrote articles for London Student, and even in his final year as an undergraduate, on higher education issues for The Observer, such as his piece published on the 21st of November 1993, In Debt and on the Run, Keir Simmons asks his fellow students why so many of them cannot or will not repay their loans. It's 25 years ago. On graduating with first-class honours, he became president of the Students' Union, staging protests about a range of issues, because in his first term as an undergraduate, there was a sit-in up there. He's telling me that he was sat in that corridor up there. So when he was president of the Students' Union, he thought he ought to follow suit. He now feels it was perhaps little more than an attempt to do what officers of Students' Union think students ought to be doing, but which kept Goldsmiths senior management, I was one of them, on its toes nonetheless. Undecided whether to go into politics or journalism, he was assisted by Tim Crook, who's on the platform, who ran a legal affairs reporting news agency serving radio and television broadcasters from the Central Criminal Court at the Old Bailey and the Royal Courts of Justice. The main client was Independent Radio News, the commercial petition to BBC Radio News. Keir volunteered to take it on with my supervision on a piecework basis, Professor Crook recalls. He was really the best young journalist I had ever taken on. He was so positive and professional, learnt and mastered complex skills, and took on responsibilities that would normally require 10 years of experience in local, regional, and national news reporting. Keir describes the work as selling stories to radio stations for £30 a pop, but in a short period of time, he'd impressed IRN and ITN so much that they were employing him on shifts in their newsrooms. And after working as a news desk assistant at ITV, he went on to work on the planning desk before becoming a freelance reporter for Sky News, 5 News, and ITV's London Tonight. Keir finally joined ITN on a permanent basis in 2004, undertaking a number of roles, including London Life correspondent at London Tonight and general reporter at ITV News, before becoming crime correspondent in 2007, in which capacity he broke exclusive news lines on high-profile crime stories for ITV News, including the Raoul Moat shootings of the Vanessa George child abuse case. Then in 2010, Keir was promoted to be UK editor for ITV News, covering home affairs, intelligence, and security for ITV News, a position he held for 2 years before leaving ITN to join NBC as one of its London-based correspondents. Keir was a guest presenter on shows such as the ITV breakfast programme Daybreak before he joined NBC. But recently, he's been spending time in a television studio in front of the camera, as well as on the road, standing in with Hoda Kotb for regular presenter Kathy Lee Gifford as co-host of the Today Show on NBC on the 31st of July. He tells me that he's going to be presenting a week-long series of shows in January on NBC. On the 31st of July, it was the first time he'd presented with Hoda, and he brought tears to many viewers' eyes by playing a video of his twin 4-year-old girls, Ilya and Ariana, who are here today, though not in the hall, insisting that Hoda was talking about her favorite thing of the week, and she talked about something to do with Las Vegas, if I remember correctly. But Keir said that his favorite thing of the week was his wife and kids. And it wasn't the first time a video of the twins had been shown on American television. I warned Keir that I would be trying to embarrass him a little today, as I remember him well from his time as president of the Students' Union when I was Dean of the Faculty of Arts. It's such a pleasure to welcome back one of our own.
Would you now like to address us? Or will you now please address us?
Goodness me. Warden, I do have a photograph of my graduation, I think 20, 25 years ago, and I do look at it often, and often I think to myself, what a ridiculous hat. So here I am again to repeat the experience, and this is an honor. I'm stunned and proud in equal measure. So surprised, in fact, that when I received the email from Georgia Cowan telling me that I would be an honorary fellow, the first time I ignored it. I didn't believe it was real. It took a second email from her for me to realize that this was indeed an inexplicable offer for me to be given this award, an honorary fellow. Who, me? You see, I don't feel very much different today than I felt as a man in my early 20s when I left this place 20 years ago, armed with ambition and a hefty dose of left-wing politics. I still feel so incredibly lucky that I got to be guided by the kinds of lecturers that are here, and looking at the staff here still, they are still here and have been teaching you. You are so lucky. And special mention, though, has to go to my friend Tim Crook, who, after I graduated, literally helped me find my first work. And I genuinely wouldn't be here if it wasn't for him. Honestly, I don't feel as if I have lived up to the values of this place. I am not some hero of the anti-establishment media championing Chomsky. Yes, I led ITV News' coverage of the phone hacking scandal. Yes, I have tried to expend some of my reporting energies standing up for people who cannot stand up for themselves. I am proud of, for example, and Alan, I mean, I didn't recognize that. I didn't recognize that resume, but thank you. You made me sound very good. Better than I remember, and you didn't mention, by the way, that I think it's helpful for people to know that I did tell you about this, so you're very kind not to mention it, that I did actually get fired by the ITV breakfast show at one point during that career. I am proud of the way that I reported on a crime case on a council estate in the north of England, a big crime case for ITV News, and worked every day to reflect a proud working class community, not the stereotype that was being reported by other media outlets. But it hasn't always been like that. My first radio report after leaving Goldsmiths was for sun cream. My friends laughed. And now that I work for American television, I spend a good deal of my time reporting on the royal family. Americans are obsessed with the royal family. In the most part, for the first 20 years of my career, I have been the embodiment of an old-fashioned and increasingly unfashionable figure, the mass audience broadcast journalist who covers everything and is all things to all people. A Renaissance man, if you like. And yet, right now, we are finding that some old-fashioned values are what we need more than ever. A commitment to truth, to facts, sincerity, authenticity, principles. I remember here at Goldsmiths discussing postmodernism and post-structuralism. I remember how exciting it was to consider that the rules themselves could be unwritten and how people warned of the nihilism that could follow. And now I stand here at Goldsmiths again at a time when we have perhaps the first ever post-structuralist American president. Oh, how we yearn for some old-fashioned Enlightenment values. Values that seem to be disappearing as fast as the messages on your Twitter feed. Come back, newspapers. All is forgiven. Perhaps the world is not so different from the way it's always been, rocked by those pre-Enlightenment forces of good and evil. But has any other generation faced a time when we see the ground moving from underneath us to such an extent? Now is the time, my friends, when we need more than ever moral strength and a belief in what is right. In this exciting and frightening world, you must think for yourself, find your own path, and be ready to change. But when you're out there in this challenging environment, don't lose touch with your core beliefs, your principles, what is in your heart. Of course, we cannot change this world by hanging on to past values. You do have to be flexible, but try to be grounded and flexible. Ultimately, that is what I understand I gained from Goldsmiths, a deeply grounded ideological core intertwined with the ability to think on my feet. That is why, to use more pre-Enlightenment phraseology, I thank God for Goldsmiths. This place equipped me, and has equipped you, to face a difficult world. We are all very lucky that we can say Goldsmiths is the place that we come from. I don't feel like Goldsmiths owes me anything, certainly not an honorary fellowship, but I feel like I owe Goldsmiths a hell of a lot.
Thank you very much for that speech, Kate. It's always lovely when we have somebody whose work is in the area where our students today are graduating, and there couldn't be a greater overlap. But to have somebody whose work and degree was here is extra special, and I know that your messages will have meant a lot to the people. It was interesting. There's a big link, I'm pleased to say, with what Paula said and what you said. Paula's at the when her colleagues are at the start of their career, and she talked about idealism, and she talked about values and doing the right thing, and the importance of the career into which you've all chosen to go. And you've still got that. I know everyone knows that 25 years in the career it's easy to forget those values that took you into a job, and that's what makes you good at what you do. So thank you very much indeed. Congratulations. And that does bring us to the end of our ceremony. I've done a number of graduation ceremonies. I was saying to the warden, I think this is the first time that the whole of a graduation ceremony has been one faculty within Goldsmiths. Usually it's a number of different faculties. And the fact that it's been one faculty, and a lot of you, it's been a big graduation ceremony, shows the importance and the standing of that faculty within the life of Goldsmiths. And I think when we look at what we are proud, the work we do in media and communications is one of the things of which we are most proud. But I somehow just wanted, in wishing you well, to take up that theme again. I spent a lot of my life in politics, and if anyone asks you why you go into politics, you go into politics to try and change the world, and that's true, because if you don't, you better not go there. But I think one of the things that I became, that I learned through my years in politics, is I used to look at people in the media and communications and often reflect that they had more power to change the world than I did. Now, there's a PhD thesis somewhere in there for somebody who's not yet got their doctorate, but I only say that as a reminder of the importance of the work you do. I think when we look around the world, we can see what happens when journalists and people in media do their job badly and forget their values. But equally, when listening to people like Keir, we are reminded the good to the world that can be done by people in media and communications who do their job well. So you take on an important role in whatever you choose to do, and in your future years, when you describe what's happened in your life and what have been the important forces that have shaped you as a person and shaped your future, we hope that you remember that you've been at Goldsmiths and are able to cite your time here with us as something that has been important to the person you are. So just one more round of applause for all our graduates today and all those who supported them. And now if I could ask you to stand for the procession out of the hall. Thank you.